Hello, my name is Andrew Aguirre and I will be recreating a look from the Elizabethan era. So if you want to learn how to go from this to this, keep on watching. Ooh, I want to do that. Alright, so I will be setting my face with just a nice mist water and my Ulta Beauty Poreless Face Primer. So I'm just going to shake my water up and then spray it around my face as you would do. When they would prime their faces, they would prime their faces with egg whites. Now, I am not that kind of gal to be priming my face with egg whites. So as you can see, I'm just putting it on my hand. You know, I got a decent fair amount, kind of a big head, and I will be just rubbing it around on my face just to get that nice smooth texture, which is something they didn't do, which is also the cause of them to like age even quicker with the amount of makeup that they would do. Now I'm going to set my face with a foundation that is not my color. Let me just tell you that it's not my color, but the fair shade to be very light was in, so it was extremely fashionable. And not only was it fashionable, it showed your wealth and your status and how regal you were. And if you were like tan or a color that like wasn't like fairly white, you were seen as a peasant because you obviously got tan from working and doing like jobs. So I'm just gonna keep on going. I'm just gonna spread it all around my face, the white foundation. But since I am painting for a woman's face and not a man's face, I'm only gonna put the like fair foundation around the perimeter of my face, and I'm not gonna do it under my eyes. I did do it on my nose and my above my lip, only because I wanted to get rid of as much mustache as I can. Now, since in the Elizabeth era they did not have not concealer, color corrector. Alright, so now I'm going to go with my e.l.f. Cosmetics concealer in the shade Light, and I'm going with the lighter concealer just to create the lighter base in the middle portion of my face, because when you want to do your concealer, you want to have it lighter, not only to show like the middle part of your face, but when you're painting for a woman, showing the inner part of your face is more important. So you will put the darker shades at the perimeter, so the light is specifically on your face in the middle. And heavy makeup actually helped cover diseases such as smallpox. Now, Queen Elizabeth got smallpox when she was 29, and it had left blemishes on her face for the rest of her life. So what they would do with these cosmetics is that they would put it over their blemishes to create a smooth base and a smooth look for them. Now, as I am blending in my foundation and my concealer, actually a fun fact is that they would damage their skin when they would do their foundation and concealer because they would fill it with white lead and vinegar, which is extremely toxic for their face. And let me just spread it around, make sure I got that nice blended motion. When you're doing your makeup, especially when you're painting to create a different person, you are doing your makeup in a way that is lifted and not down, because when you're painting for a woman, the more lifted your face looks, the more smaller and petite it looks. I am now using my Maybelline New York powder in the lightest shade I can, and I'm just going to spread that all over my face. Now I am spreading that all over my face so there is no blemishes or anything, and to make sure that my makeup is set and has a more realistic effect than it just looking like a bunch of like stuff on top of it. When you powder so it looks realistic and not for the fakeness. And now I'm just going to get a big fluffy brush and just make sure that I press all of that in. But while I'm going to set it in with another powder, which is my Pacifica Crystal Rays Translucent Setting Powder. And that is going to also help set the makeup. The Maybelline New York powder actually just helps like to make sure that you don't have any like sweaty marks. Alright, so now I'm using the red eyeshadow in the James Charles X Morphe palette because it is super pigmented, and that is what we want with this look, to make it very modern but also still go back to the traits that they used. So now I'm painting the blush a little bit higher than what you would normally do, because I'm also using the blush more as a contour to create a look that makes my face look way more feminine than it already does. But the blush is going to create this effect where it makes my face look more flushed, and that was very in the Elizabeth era. The more flushed your face, the better it looked. It showed like more regalness with your makeup. Blush was actually used from a plant dye, and I'm applying my blush in an oval shape because that is what they would do in the Elizabeth era, and like the shape they would do it, and they'd make sure it looks super extremely flushed. So I'm just going in my oval shape and continuing to do that. I don't know why I looked really confused, but I'm looking confused. But as you can see, as I look into the camera, it looks like there's more of a shadow on my cheekbone, which makes my cheekbones look higher and better. So there is the blush. And I'm just going to continue to blend that in, because the more blending, the better, to create this flushed look. And I'm just going to apply it on the other side of my cheek. And I'm going about my sideburns because I cut my sideburns extremely high for when I wear wigs and stuff like that, because it helps cover up the my natural boy hair. So I'm going to continue to just go into a circle, applying in an oval shape on my cheekbones. And fun fact is that Queen Elizabeth, I mean, of course, she's the queen. She was the biggest like celebrity icon that I think that was used as in like makeup history right now for this like day and age. Whatever she was doing was like in at the moment. She was what we would call our like times like Rihanna or Lady Gaga. So I'm just continuing to blend it in, and I am blending it in on my forehead to just continue to use it as a contour more. I wanted to use like materials that they had at the time, so I know like contour wasn't like something they really like focused on. So I contoured the top of my forehead, and now I'm just getting my extremely big fluffy brush, and with the powders that I have left on it, I'm just using that to create the more flushed effect on my face, because the translucent powders will help make it flushed. Alright, so I will now be using my Maybelline New York Color Sensational Shaping Lip Liner. Yes, we use a lot of Maybelline New York in this household because we stan them. They just make very great products for cosmetics. So I'm going to just use my lip liner across my eyes because it will make my eyes look bigger, and bigger eyes was actually a very desirable trait at the time. It was seen as very seductive, I guess we could say. So I'm just putting it in the like very part of my lid, like the inner part of my lid, and I'm going on the top with that, but then I'm going to go with the black shade from the James Charles X Morphe palette to just solidify the look. So I'm just gonna go on to the other eye and just quickly do it really quickly. And what they would use is something called belladonna, which belladonna is something that they used in their eyes to make their eyes more dilated, because, girl, dilation was in at the time. So here I am with my angled brush, and this is more of a tip to use when you are doing, like, when you're a boy doing a woman's look. So we're gonna go with the black shade, and I like to go in just at the very, like, bottom corner part of my lashes on my bottom lash line, because when I do that, it makes this lifted effect. And if you're doing like makeup outside of the Elizabeth era and just more like of a like natural look, make it more into a wing even, and go onto your eye from the bottom up, and it will make your eyes look more lifted and more open too. So I'm just going in at the bottom, and you want to make sure it's blended too, because it like lightens your eyes, but when you put mascara on, that's when it looks very natural. It may not look natural when you first start in, it may look like you have like a raccoon's eye under, but once you put mascara on those lashes, everything will look better. So I'm just gonna continue to pat the black on my eyelid, just in case like the gray didn't show. So, and it's all about making the eyes bigger. So we're just gonna continue to blend and blend and blend our little heart away. Alright, and so now I'm using the same black eyeshadow from the James Charles X Morphe palette, and I'm using my angled brush to do my brows. Now, when you would do your brows in the Elizabeth era, they wanted more like red and very like small eyebrows. Now, that's just not the case with me. I was born with very thick eyebrows, you know, very, very, very thick eyebrows. But the reddish tone in the eyebrows being very skinny and to make sure that they had the big arch was very trendy at the time. That was what makeup was all about in the Elizabethan era. And the reddish tones is something that you see throughout makeup actually when it comes to the Elizabethan era. It's all about the reds and the whites, and the reds and whites coinciding. So with this makeup look, I did do kind of more of a modern where I did make my skin more paler, but I did play with the reds to make it. Now girl, I gave you a pose. Now I am using my two favorite eyelash mascara brands, which are both Maybelline New York. I told you we love them. We have the Lash Sensational, which I use for my bottom lashes, and what I'm currently putting on my top lash is the Colossal Big Shot Hydro Fuse Mascara. Now, mascara plays a big part in my life with my daily makeup routine, but in the Elizabethan era, they would have more like red eyelashes, and it wasn't as dramatic as the way I do my eyelashes today. And I will be adding eyelashes, like fake eyelashes, to this look, just to make it more like feminine. Because when you are painting for a boy to a woman, you usually want to involve fake eyelashes because it creates this effect where you can put the eyelash more up instead of down, and it makes your eyes look more lifted. So right now I'm just putting my lashes at the bottom part right now with the mascara, and you want to make sure you get a lot of volume so that black eyeshadow, sorry, I lost my voice, for that black eyeshadow that's in there. And see, look, now it doesn't even look like I had black eyeshadow in there. It just looks like my natural lashes. Bam, pose, ooh, ah, give it to me, give me more. Alright, and now I will be adding a red lipstick. It is in the shade 382 red for me. It's a natural matte lipstick from Maybelline New York. You guessed it, girl. And so I'm just going to pat it in at first. But then as I was patting it in, I was like, this ain't working, girl. So I just rubbed it in very lightly, and I just blended it in. Continue to blend in with your lips. And when you are painting from boy to girl, you want to make sure that you continue to just blend it. Alright, and now I will be setting with an e.l.f. Cosmetics blush again over the blush that I had already done. Now this is a very light blush, and this blush actually, I feel like I used it to create more of the flesh look. Also, look how skinny I look with that contour that I did with that blush. When it comes to contouring your face, blush and usually powdered contours really helps. But I guess blush works on its own too. You learn a new thing every day, girl. Alright, and I got lost for some reason, but I am now going to highlight, and I am only highlighting for my everyday look, but I am highlighting with let me find it, girl, I have my table right here, with my Bare Minerals powder, and it is just a great highlight, and highlight used to actually be made of crushed crystals and silver. Alright, so now I am finally getting my hair on, so you put your wig cap on, just, you know, you gotta. And now we are blonde. And blonde is actually something that was very like in. So it was blonde and reddish hair. Those were the most desirable hairs when it came to the Elizabethan era. And when it came to dyeing their hair, so disgusting, but women used to use urine to help dye their hair. So I am now just brushing my hair out, because every time you put a wig on, you gotta brush it out at least. And most of the hairs were done up, but this is unfortunately not a lace front wig that I can just put up like that. So we are wearing it down, but don't worry, girl. We're gonna put a headband in there so it makes everything better. And lipstick is actually the same as blush in what they use. I totally forgot to mention that, but their lipstick and blush, those were the same kinds of dye. And now I'm going to use the Got to Be Glue hairspray just to set my hair in place and my makeup in place. Thank you so much for watching this video. what did you do? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to, my social medias will be at the end of my outro. And follow me on there. And I am sorry I haven't been doing looks as I said I was at the beginning. I will be getting back into the YouTube game eventually. Pinky promise.
On me.